Another reality that we have to face when we're looking at creating a delicious life is the reality of our calendar. Our calendar also reveals our priorities, and it can reveal any discrepancies between what we say are our priorities and what actually are our priorities. When I first moved to Raleigh, I had a completely open calendar. I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted. And so I actually got the chance to create my calendar from scratch. And I used a great book by Robert Benson called Everyday Joy. And that was how I processed my priorities. One of the things he said in there is that most of our lives is under the influence of some sort of rule. There are rules and habits and organizations that influence our calendar and constrain it, whether or not we realize it or not, whether or not we chose that rule or not. So, to face the reality of your calendar, you have to look at and assess what are the rules that are already influencing it. For example, if you're a stay-at-home mom, then a huge part of the rule of your calendar is your children's schedule. How do you balance taking care of the home with taking care of the kids? Those are the rules that structure your life. So how can you be more proactive with your calendar? How can you make sure that your calendar reflects your true, most important priorities? Flexible. First, look at the least flexible rules that impact your calendar. If you're the kid chauffeur, then school start times and end times, they're fixed. You don't have any flexibility around that. If you work, your working hours are probably to a certain extent non-negotiable. So look at those least flexible rules and realize those are the constraints that you have to structure your calendar around. Next, look at your volunteer commitments. Where are you spending your volunteer time? Most of us are doing some kind of volunteering one way or another. Maybe. So look at, is that flexible? Can you change it? Does it not fit very well with your current calendar? If it doesn't, see if you can find some other way to serve that cause or organization. Keep a time journal for a week or two, and that gives you a really good sense. Where is your time going? My daughter gets up at 7:30. I take her to school. I know that from 7:30 to 9:30 every morning, Monday through Friday, that's time when I'm dedicated to my daughter. Helpful. I mean, that's 2 hours in the morning, and then in the afternoon I pick her up, and that's another 45 minutes. So that helps me create a calendar, keeping those time constraints into account. Finally, once you've got a good handle on the rules, the least flexible rules that are governing your calendar, and maybe having kept a time journal, categorize everything you do. And you need to start with 3 categories: sleep, work, and rest. Because they're the 3 essential categories. Sleep is when you are actually sleeping. Rest is any time that you're relaxing. It's watching TV, it's having coffee, it's reading a book, it's doing a hobby, it's visiting with a friend. Anything that you're doing that doesn't produce income or isn't hard work is rest. And then there's work, and that can be unpaid and paid work. You can have other categories. You can have relationship time, you can have family time, you can have vacation time, you can have spiritual time. But you want to start with those 3 basic categories of work, sleep, and rest. Look to see if you're overcommitted. Red flags that you're overcommitted. You don't have time to keep track of your time. If you simply do not have time to download something and jot down every hour what you're doing, you're overcommitted. Second red flag, you don't have at least 9 hours a day to sleep. Another red flag for overcommitment, you have no unscheduled time. There's literally not a single part of your day that is not scheduled. If you don't have any free time at all, any day, ever, you're overcommitted. Everyone needs a little bit of unscheduled time because emergencies happen. You're gonna have to do unexpected things, so you need a little bit of margin in your schedule to manage your life. Finally, if there's a lack of balance in the categories, the sleep, work, and rest categories, maybe all you do is sleep and work, you need some rest. So if you have a lack of balance, if one or more categories is missing or is just itty bitty in comparison to all the rest, you probably are overcommitted. How to evaluate your calendar, how to face your calendar honestly.